Hello and welcome back to the flight deck. Hope you're all doing well on this Thursday. You can hear the wind howling out there. A little bit of a breeze here in New York. This is live weather, live time. This is the second flight in our series going around the U.S. And today we're going to fly here from JFK in New York City up to Niagara Falls International Airport in Niagara Falls, New York. It's a short flight, not too long. It's about 300 miles. And we're going to be flying today in this U.S. Airways A320. Of course, U.S. Airways doesn't exist anymore. It went into one of the mergers, I think, with United, if I'm not mistaken. But if they're around, this is what their livery might look like, especially if they did a retro one. But that's it. We're flying the latest update on the A320nx patch by the fly-by-wire guys, so all our autopilot issues are fixed. So that should not be an issue on this flight. So let's hop into the airplane and we'll start getting her set up. Let's do that. All right. So we'll get the batteries on and hook up the external power. I'm also going to throw on the dome light so we can see what we're doing. So we'll get the deers up and going. There we go. They're going to take a little bit of time to align. Now we can get all the cockpit lighting set up the way we want it. It's nice they got the second dial working here. That means I can turn up the brightness of the screen and turn down the weather behind so I can still see the route. And then I tend to leave this one up bright so I can see the weather on the FO's screen. Turn up that one. And we'll get you, and then we'll throw on the pedestals for when we actually start to taxi out. Alright, so they're done, panel light's done, landing gear levers confirmed down, flaps are up, and spoilers. Retracted fuel quantity is checked, that's what we want. And we'll get on the lights in the back. We'll get the lights on so that everyone knows the aircraft is up and going. And we might as well get the passengers. 114 passengers today, I think it is. Let's see if I can get that going there. There we go. So they're all going to start to board. We can get the baggage and fuel going as well. Our baggage and catering. There's catering and there's baggage. Get all that loading onto the aircraft. So this one, it's pretty good. We can go down here and get the weather sent directly to us. So we're going to do a weather report for where we are and where we're headed. And that's now been sent, and they will send us a message back with the weather. So we can get the rest of our aircraft set up here. Just straighten this up a little bit. So our alternate today is Pittsburgh, actually. K-Pitt. And our our flight number is AEW102. 25 and 3,000 is our flight level today. We'll get that aligned. We can go to page B and enter in our fuel weights. So our 0 fuel weight is 55.8. And our center of gravity is 25.55. With a block fuel of 5.7. There we go. Now our headwind, or our wind component, yeah, it's a headwind. Oh, it's going to be pretty strong too. We have a headwind of 53 knots calculated for the duration of the trip. Alright, so that's done. We're going to be going to flaps 1, since pretty long runways here at New York. We can reset our V speeds. Nicely set. We're going off on runway 22 here at JFK. 22 right. And you can see it says we have a company message. So if we go back into the menu, we can look up the received messages. There's our message, and here's the weather. So the weather here is 10 miles, few clouds at 14,000 feet, scattered at 18,000 feet. Winds are 240 at 11. 3017 is the barometer. And up at Niagara, winds are 240 at 16, gusting to 24, and clear skies.
When you find your seat, please be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in the front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bin. If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you. If the overhead bin is full after you put your carry-on inside of it, please close the bin as a courtesy to other passengers. Once all your items are put away, please clear the aisle and sit down in your seat to allow other passengers to find their seats as well. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the safety card in the seat back in front of you. Please make sure you are willing and able to perform the actions required. If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions, please let a flight attendant know so you can be reseated. You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard.
Alright, so our fire tests are all done. We can get the air on in the back. Crew oxygen is on. Alright. Let's carry on working back here. We got 2 minutes to go until the IRSs are aligned, so I'm going to throw the beacon on and we're going to get the APU up and running so it's ready to go when we are. Flap is open, starting the APU. Faintly hear it. Unfortunately, the sound doesn't go outside when we go back there. Let's try this. That's better. Sounds like she's almost up. Oh, there's our adheres are aligned. So we'll do a quick look at the flight plan. It's for fairly straightforward. We're going to take off, make a right turn once we come out of JFK to pick up our route. And then we just kind of follow the line up and to Niagara Falls. And the cabin's ready to go as well. Excellent. Put you at 40, back to performance. Let me just let the guys on the ground know that we're about ready to go.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Okay, I will hold.
Alright. So we're going to set the transponder to 12,000. Beacon lights are armed. Emergency exit rows are armed. FMC. It's going to be a straight out climb to our flight level today. 30,000 feet. Departure briefing is good. Let's get them to disconnect the jetway. There we go. And slides are all armed. Jetway's being removed. Okay, the APU is up.
Gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 102. Our flight time will be roughly 56 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Alright. So we're going to go tail to the left. Now push our nose to the right. We're just hooking up down below. There we go.
You are cleared behind and start your engines at your discretion.
To the flight attendants as they demonstrate the safety features of our
Got the
aircraft.
okay to start up.
You will notice a light illuminated above your seat. When this light is illuminated, please fasten your seatbelt low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew
Roger.
advises
Okay,
you
the
to
tow bar is
change
disconnected and the equipment is clear.
In the
We will see you on the left side with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, put your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. Please read it and let a cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
And engine number 2 is up and running. A good start on engine number 2. Let's Electrics are all on. Hydraulics are all on. Bleeds are on. So APU comes off. Master goes to normal. And I'm going to kill the dome light here. There we go. So probes and window heat come on. Altimeters are set and cross-checked. Standby altimeter is set. Radios are set. Autopilot is set. Flight directors are on both sides. Auto brake set to max. Flaps 1 for takeoff. Elevator trim. Oop. Elevator trim is set 1 up. And flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, left, and right rudder. So we have taxi clearance. Come up, throw our taxi light on. We're going to put our turn off lights on and our wing lights. It's pretty dark. Make sure we've got enough illumination out there. So let's get going. So we're going to taxi out to, looks like Quebec.
Please note the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there is a reading light on the panel above you.
And we're basically going to do a right turn down at the far end, and that'll take us down to the runway. See the lights in New York over there lighting up the sky and the clouds. I think we'll take this one all the way down to Bravo and turn left on Bravo. And then we'll head all the way down to the end where it turns into Echo, and that takes us right to the end of runway 22 right. Let's do our config test. That will come off. We'll let the crew finish up what they're doing, and once we make the left turn onto Bravo, we will give them a ding. So I had concerns about the way this, the latest model of the A320, even at idle, she just continues to accelerate away. And I had a chat with a real A320 pilot, and he mentioned that, yeah, that is actually the way they are. And if you've got a long taxi, which I haven't done this time, what they would do is a single engine to decrease the amount of thrust that's pushing them along. And started up when they got closer to either the runway or the gate, however they were going. So there are options. I just tend to slow down to 20 and then let it accelerate a little bit. So here's Alpha. We're actually going to go to the next one, which is Bravo. And then we're going to parallel the runway we're taking off on here. Actually, they're right in front of us. I'm gonna head down this way. Good night for flying. A little bit of high winds. They're really gusting up in Niagara, but just a little bit of cloud in the sky, not too bad. And there's some traffic out there flying around. Alright, they can get themselves sorted out and seated. So this is part of our series of flying around the U.S. Literally, we're going to circumnavigate, kind of. The first episode I had to hand fly because of the autopilot issues, but that was from Boston to New York. And today it's leg 2, and we're heading from New York up to Niagara Falls. We are going to pop outside. We're going to go up to Toronto after Niagara Falls. And then after that we head back into the U.S. So should be all right. Some short flights, some longer flights. Nothing too long. This flight, I think, is about 50 minutes in the air. So we got another airplane moving over there in front of us. You might be heading down to runway 22 right as well. Oh, this is okay. Just looking at my airport diagram here, this little bend here is not quite reflected as severely as it is here on the sim. See by the sign there, we're on Echo. We're about to cross 31 right. It's not in use. This guy should make a left turn here. Or keep going straight ahead, whichever one you want. That sign should not be in the middle of the road there, or in the middle of the taxiway. You might be going, taking off from there. We'll have to see what he does. Or he could just be going down to the other end, I don't know. Could be going to 22 left. But here we are. Now I think they played around with New York and cleaned it up a little bit, but I'm not exactly 100% sure. Alright, there we go. Parking brake is on. So flight instruments are checked, engine instruments are checked, takeoff data is checked, nav equipment is all checked. Lights are all on. Pitot heat not required, or it's on. De-ice not required. Transponder will go on. And PWS and radar. Oop. Door is locked to the back. And we're ready to go. Let's, where'd that guy go? Oh, there he is. He's over there. Alright, so let's take position out here. And we'll get ready to go. Nobody inbound. They may be doing simultaneous takeoff and landings on the other runway, so we're going to watch this guy here. Looks like he is landing. This is live weather and live traffic, so looks like they are using that runway. Trying to see where he's going. Oh, he's coming back up this way. That's one way to do it, I guess. So he's landing. Very nice. Alright, that way's clear. There's nobody behind us. I think we're good to go. So we'll start the clock. Throttles to 40. Let them stabilize. Alright. Takeoff power is set. 5 degree down. Keep the nose planted. On under knots. Ease off. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. And throttles to climb. Making our turn. Flaps coming up. For some reason my packs stopped working, so we've lost all the stuff in the back with the flight crew, but that's fine, it's a short flight. Continue our climb. All right. Take it up to 10 degrees. And we'll go to intercept our course. There's New York City, Manhattan Island. Very nice, very a little bit intensive there. I'm not liking where those flight directors are pointing right now. I'm hoping it doesn't decide it's going to act up. We will see.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, there they are.
And turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information.
Coming down to accelerate here. That green line, yeah, that green line's coming up now. So if I go to autopilot, there we go. So we're turning to intercept the line. Alright, for some reason, I don't know why she does this. Let's start taking her up. It goes into descent mode for some reason. Still bugs with it. Oh, there's the wing rock, so we'll shut that off. There we go. Ah, she's climbing. Oh, misty, cloudy day today. Hey, good to see you there, Mosto. How's everything going? Oh, there's aircraft in front of us. Fairly cloudy, but should be all right. Not expecting any real weather. But like I said, it is apparently windy out at Niagara Falls. So we're through. We can shut off all these lights. We're going to be heading through a bunch of cloud here, and then after we make our turn, it should ease up. But you can see we've already got a 54 knot crosswind. So our ETA has us into Niagara in about 45 minutes. So not too bad. So some good news. I just saw an announcement just before I started loading everything in that looks like Aerosoft have released or will be releasing their CRJs by Christmas, which is fantastic news. I'm looking forward to that. And also that Just Flight released their ported over BAE 146, which is a 4-engine regional jet, which is pretty cool. It's a design from the 60s, I believe, but they're still in use in Europe. And they're used by my virtual airline, so it's going to be pretty cool to check out. So I'm going to have to look into that. Oh, some more traffic over there. Not sure if don't have a button for traffic. The altitude difference is too great, they won't show up anyway. But it's looking like we're above the clouds. Let's take a look. Well, we are, and it's pretty dark out, so there's not much to see. Even if we go to the windows, cabin lights are dimmed. Looks like we're just brushing through the tops of the clouds right now. Stars are going in and out. There's 25,000 feet. Oh, we can just pick up the sunset. Getting a little bit of the orange on the horizon there. So we will be doing the ILS to runway 28 right in Niagara. So I'm going to make sure that's in here. 28 right ILS. We'll get that inserted. And 110.1 is the correct frequency, and that'll switch over. That's the other side for the other runway. But that's good. So that's set. We'll get the weather once we make finish making the turn here. So once again, this is live weather, live real time, and live traffic, although we know the traffic is not quite there. There's not enough aircraft. So let's get the weather. Again, we'll just do an update, see if there's any changes. So we'll go into the system here. We'll send another weather request to the company. We'll wait for that message to come in. It'll give us an indicator up here. There she is. Oh, no. Message received. Weather. So what do we have here in Niagara? We have winds are 220 at 17, gusting 24. 10 miles of visibility, skies are clear, temperature is 05 and 299.6 is the altimeter. And the decision height is 250 feet for the runway. So we're going to enter that in now while we're here. So 299.6 is the altimeter. Temperature was 5 degrees. Winds are 220 at 17. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet. And our decision height was 250. Puts our approach speed at 131, which is fine. So we're in our cruise now. They're probably not going to be able to serve anything in the back given the short flight time. We'll see what they say. Beautiful night out, clear skies, lots of stars, and that great little tinge of sunset there on the horizon.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks.
Looks like they got time to serve some drinks.
That's our list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. Note that we only accept credit cards.
Yeah, so we're going to check out that BA 146. Should be an interesting aircraft. So looking at where we are on the map, we're currently, well, let me bring it up for you. Oh, another airplane behind us. You can see the live traffic around us. So that's where we're headed. This is the what's called the Finger Lakes region. You can see they look like hands, fingers coming down. Beautiful area here. We flew over this area when I did my Cessna 172 trip from Toronto to Boston. Gorgeous scenery through there. That's where we are. There's where we took off at JFK. We kind of flew up this way and made the left turn. Again, not a long flight on this one, but that's all right. They're not all going to be 2 or 3 hours. This aircraft has reached, though. I've done 7 hour, just over 7 hours. So they will stretch out when they're fully loaded with fuel. I'm going to move over to the other seat here. And we'll give you a view that way so you can see the sunset. I'll let you enjoy for a few minutes. And I'll be back. So we're going to start our descent a little bit early, but we want to make sure we're down. So there's no approach in here. We're basically going straight in, and then we're going to intercept the ILS. We've already set our information in, so that is all good to go. Come out on the speed brakes, try to give us a little bit more speed control, keep us down around 250. Again, the VNAV is not working, or else it would automatically calculate a descent point and bring you down at proper angles and stuff like that. But since it's not there, we got to do kind of a rough calculation and do it by hand. Speed brakes, trying to give us a little bit more speed control, keep us down around 250. Again, the VNAV is not working, or else it would automatically calculate a descent point and bring you down at proper angles. Still some weather out there. I can see some clouds and stuff like that, but fortunately I left my speakers on the other system on, so if you heard my voice duplicated, that was what it was. So the rough rule of thumb that I use for descent, and I didn't come up with this myself, somebody I saw on another channel do it, is 250 knots, 2,000 feet per minute descent. That should give you a distance of 80 miles to drop 30,000 feet. So using that as a rough guesstimate for when to start your descent. So we're probably going to be down a little bit early, but I can always back off at the end and shallow our descent rate so that we don't get down too early. But we want to make sure we're down to 2,000 feet by the time we hit the intercept point for the ILS. Because a nice angle on that works very well, and we're going to be on a great angle. Ideally, you want to be about 30 degrees off of the ILS heading, and it's 280 and we're at 31, so we're coming in at 30 degrees. So basically, it's just a straight descent down to intercept, which is great. It's kind of the easiest way to do it. So we're a little not concerned, but it's going to be interesting with those gusts because the winds are going to be coming in at about a 40 degree from the left. So could be a little bit buffety and breezy as we make our short final down to the runway. So there's 20,000 feet. So I'm just going to shallow to 18. For now. In fact, I'm going to shallow it down to 15. See if we can hold our speed without the spoilers because they get rather noisy. We're going to creep a little bit, but that's fine. So that might be Rochester, New York, and that could be Lake Ontario. And that is probably going to be Toronto out that way. Alright, well, there's 18,000, so go back into normal mode here, and, oop, no, 29906 is the Niagara Falls altimeter we saw when we checked the weather. That's really dropped our altitude reading. Yeah, we got a pretty good headwind here. I'm actually going to take that down to about 800 feet. Again, this C-120R is probably where we want to be at 2,000 feet. And that's still 70 miles out, so I think we're good, nice and slow like this on a slow descent. We're definitely being held up by that wind. Still got some traffic out there. And you can see the clouds they've cleared up. They're kind of behind us, I think a little bit over there on the radar. Still a little orange cloud there from the sun. Our ground speed's down at wow. Yeah, definitely playing havoc with us here. So the thing you got to remember about the air mass is we may be moving forward at 250 knots in the air mass, but as you can see, the air mass is moving at 44 knots. So it's not quite on the nose, but if it was on the nose, you would have to subtract 44 knots from our 450. So while our speed says we're doing 250, we're actually doing like 205 across the ground. It's slightly more than that because it's on an angle, but so if we're doing a mile a minute at 250, we're not going to be covering a mile. We're only covering, we're short a bit. So instead of doing 4 miles in 4 minutes, we'd actually be doing like something like 3.5 miles. So it takes a bit longer to get where you're going. But we will get there. So I probably could have started this descent, a good bit later, maybe at 60 miles out, given the wind speeds. Live and learn. Well, that's us through 12,000. Looks like some low cloud ahead. Anyway, there's 10,000 feet. So we get the landing lights on. Fuel quantity is checked, gear is up, flaps are up, confirmed, and the landing system is now on. Let's make sure that they're set in the back there.
We have begun our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
So we're about 38 miles to the intercept. You gotta hate it when you get that little tickle in the back of the throat and you're trying not to cough. Alright, 30 miles. Everything is set. Trim is working on this wind 40 knots, so it is decreasing as we get closer to the ground. Yeah, altitude was going up slightly even though we were going down, so we're getting bounced pretty good here. 6,000, 6,100. Winds are 270 right now. We'll see how much they veer around when we get right down to the ground. There's 20. Yeah, unfortunately not a lot to see at night. I wanted to do this one real time, real weather. The rest of them I'll probably set midday or morning or whatever I feel like. Live weather, but change the time so we can see what we're doing. I think I can see the airport ahead. Picking up the ILS. Niagara Falls off over this way somewhere. Yeah, winds are starting to come around. $14 miles. $10 miles, we'll go into approach mode. So there's 10 miles. Alright, we're already in approach mode. So we'll go into managed. So seatbelts are on. Radios are set. Speed coming back. Landing lights are checked. Taxi light goes on. Ground spoilers will arm. Speed is coming down. Winds are decreasing. cabineting. Two 2,000 feet. And flaps 1. I'm gonna probably override and go up to 140 on the speed. I think that is a little low for these winds, especially with those gusts. You can see how much we're crabbing on the screen there to keep that flight going. We're on target for our intercept, though. So we're in within a mile. So as soon as I see the localizer move, I'll hit approach mode. And then things are going to happen a little quickly. We're making the turn anyway. So there's approach mode. Flaps 2. Speed's coming back. 8 miles to the airport. Localizer captured. Glide slope is moving. Gear down. Flaps 3. Gears down and locked. Flaps full. All right, fully deployed. Glide slope is in capture mode. Glide slope is captured. All right. Let's see how we deal with this wind. Yeah, 240, 30 knots right now. We're on the path. I think okay. One auto brakes too. Ground spoilers are set. Short runway here. Alright, winds are down to 20 knots. Swinging down towards 230 degrees. Gonna let the airplane flyer down close to the ground.
Above. 300. Minimum.
Landing.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Oh, a little push from the wind there. Ah, very nice. We're down. Terminals over on the other side. That's the Air National Guard and U.S. Air Force Base off to our right. We're going to go off to the left.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 7:26 p.m. and it's currently about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us and we hope to see you again soon.
Alright, let's quickly clean up the airplane. So strobes, landing lights, taxi lights, and wing lights will stay on. The APU up and going. Transponder comes off. Standby. PWS is off. Radar is off. Wheel temperature should be good. It wasn't too bad a landing. Let's see, did I miss anything? You're set. Anti-ice is not on. APU is cranking. And elevator trim. Oh yes, elevator trim. Flaps all the way up. And elevator trim goes to takeoff. One up. Alright, let's get the APU up and running and we'll taxi in. So on the other side to the left where I said that's where the Army is, that's the New York Air National Guard hangars and the U.S. Air Force Reserve hangars. And ahead of us, this building here is the U.S. Army, or the New York Army National Guard. So that's the Army National Guard, and on the other side is the New York Air National Guard as well. But we're heading to the terminals, which are over that way. It's just going to be an interesting taxi. Now, I know they get some fairly big traffic in here. I've flown down here going to air shows and stuff, and you can see them the odd time, some tankers and cargo. I think there's a cargo squadron or wing that works out of here. So there's a lot of traffic that flies out of here. Not sure about commercial. I think Buffalo is the big airport here for commercial traffic. But we'll see what's here when we get around to the terminal. I'm sure they will be surprised to see us. Oh, look at that moon. If you guys saw that. Nice orange moon coming up there. That's pretty cool. I had a flight like that over Europe where the big orange moon came up. It was another night flight. Some small GA airplanes. Again, not much to see from the outside. It's too bad you can't get the sounds when you're out there. So we're going to go right across the end of the runway here. No, the runway we landed on was 9,800 feet. Okay, I looked at the smaller one. So this is runway 06. We're just going to cross that. And that brings us, there's the terminal. Right there. We're just going to pull up in front of it. Well, there's an airliner there. So we're good. I don't know how many have jetways here. Oh, there's one there. Looks like we got some guys there waiting for us. Excellent. Alright, so let's kill the nose light. Well, you don't have to turn your lights off. Now I can't see anything. Oh, there's the guy giving me direction. See if I can see him from outside here. A little bit. I think that's pretty good. I think it'll do nicely. Let's see if they'll hook the jetway. That will tell me. Yes, we're there. Alright, so the parking brake is on. Thrust levers are idle. Ground contact has been made. Oh, you've got external power for me. That's excellent. So the APU can go off. We can shut down the engines. And the rest of the lights will come off. Steer lights indicates passenger signs. They can do their thing. The doors open. Ooh. Fuel pumps will come off. And everything else is good where it stands. Well, guys, thanks for joining me on this short flight. It, again, wasn't a long one, but it got us to where we needed to be, which is here in New York. With that beautiful moon rising over the horizon there. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.